Hello.
Hello. Oh my gracious. Hey, that has never happened. I apologize. It's just par for the course for tonight. Okay, so after some technical difficulties, some all kinds of stuff, as you can tell, it's just rolling over. We are here for, even if it's a shorter session, Rhapsody, Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, Session 13, The Long Walk, Part 2. Golly, I apologize. So, Session 13, The Long Walk, Part 2. This is a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons game. It is a mature game. We're going to go through all this very quickly. So, mature game, pay attention. If you find stuff, if you hear or see stuff that you don't like, I apologize. That's just the way the game is structured. So, we try and keep stuff in check, but we want to be as realistic as possible. We are sponsored in part by Inked Gaming and Team Rankstar. You can go to inkgaming.com, get 12% off your final purchases of all kinds of good stuff. I highly recommend checking them out and use code TRS12 at checkout for 12% off your final purchase. Our music in the intro and the outro, no break today because of the shorter session, is from Max Tunes at taketones.com. You can get your free music for your Twitch streams, your YouTube videos, anything your heart desires. Just head on over to taketones.com today and download what you need and just make sure you shout them out in your videos or in descriptions, things like that. Finally, and potentially most importantly, a big shout out and thank you to Roll20.net and Wizards of the Coast. Roll20.net is the app we use to play online across the continental United States and in Canada. You can play for free hundreds of different systems, roll dice, have maps, put your tokens on the board, everything in between. Head on over to roll20.net today to start playing for free. And then Wizards of the Coast makes Dungeons and Dragons. Obviously, if you don't know that, I don't know where you've been the last 30 or 40 years. They made a fantastic game. It brought us all together, and we continue to enjoy it every Friday as much as we can, even through technical difficulties and stuff. So, beyond that, skipping the introductions and stuff because you'll get to hear almost everybody's voice today. Tim, Darian may not be able to join us, but Darian is very sad and it is relatively fitting. So if he's able to make an appearance, fantastic. If not, it falls in line with the story. We're going to recap really quickly where we left off last week. So last week in the Long Walk Part 1 in Session 12, the party was moving back as quickly as they could to get to the garden back from Pier 36. On the way back, they found a body in an alley. The first couple of people bypassed it. Hannah and Darian very shook up from the events, but the doctor and the professor were moving together. Decided to take a little stop and check it out. Looted it for some stuff. Found some pretty good things. Once they got back to the garden, they had a briefing with the sheriff and some of the guards. Took some notes on who they interacted with. Weren't too happy about it, but that's just the way it goes. Ended up getting back inside the garden, sat down with the sheriff, found out or made their report, were granted their licenses back, and found out about some other problems. The doctor has actually been granted essentially a government contract with the garden and is now the point of contact with the sheriff. After the party went their separate ways, Hannah and Darian went back to Minerva's abode, found the will and money, and have been kind of on a mission to get things taken care of. You'll be able to follow up with the role play in the group Discord. You can type !DND in chat to get that Discord information, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can get the Discord link in the description below. The last thing that has happened after all of that is we are picking up now midday on the 7th day in the timeline. It'd be June 28th, if my math is correct. And Hannah is where we are starting, is finalizing the fulfillment of Minerva's will and prepping everything for the burial. Do I have that right, Dylan?
Yes.
All right. In the other places, Emily's newest character is ready, and we'll be able to hopefully meet them today. The professor has been on a very interesting, we'll call it a spiritual journey,
Yes.
and we'll find out some aftermath of that. And then the doctor has been resting and examining samples, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We haven't done
All
anything with
right.
that though, so I don't know if people have already gone through a couple days, then I would need to catch up.
Yeah, we can play it. We can play a little bit of catch up. I know it's been a busy week for a lot of us, myself included. So we can do a little bit of catch up on that. Maybe we'll actually start there, since I think you're the only one who actually isn't caught up from midday on day 6, or excuse me, night on day 6, and then into midday on day 7. So you'd have about mm, 8 to 10 hours of things you could do outside of resting and things like that. What would the doctor have done getting back home and getting the samples put away? I think was the last thing you did. Put them in their jars and beakers and sealed them up as best you could in the most safe containment that you've got considering the conditions.
He was actually hurting pretty bad, so he would get a full night's sleep.
So full night's sleep. You wake up kind of mid morning. You're not disturbed by anything that wakes you up. It's just kind of an internal clock that kicks on. You've gone through this rotation a bunch. It is a few hours, probably before midday. It was a little bit later when you got in, and hard to fall asleep, things like that. So you got 3 or 4 hours until the midday bell.
Yeah, so first he gets up and he writes in his notebook as usual, his little doctor's journal log. And then he will grab some breakfast. And first he's going to prepare to head over to, I believe it's Jim's shop, the general store. What's the guy's name that runs that?
Jim Davies.
Yeah,
is,
Jim
I
Jim
think, who-
Davies.
Yep.
He has bullets for him, and he wants to get that done out of the way so then he can sort of lock himself in his lab for the next couple days.
Absolutely. So we can let's go ahead and take care of that, and then we'll have everybody caught back up. So you make your way through through the bazaar. The first thing you notice is, even without passing it, you just kind of grown accustomed to knowing where Hannah's shop is. Just a passing glance. Well, let's see. Actually, how much attention does the doctor pay to other things outside of his own purview?
It's pretty much just he's doing his thing. He doesn't really care what's around him.
Understood. So, your passive perception score is what?
10.
10. Okay. You would not actually even notice. So, the bazaar is just trucking along as normal. Not really any extra kind of guard presence or anything like that. It's literally just the same as it was a year ago or 10 days ago, for all intents and purposes, moving through the bazaar. And you make your way over to Jim Davies' shop. It is up and running. It's been open for a few hours now since he slept in a little bit to get that final rest. There's a fair amount of people inside, especially after the rain. A lot of them are trying to trade water that they have collected. There's a bunch of people with like night crawlers. Clay is actually very popular after it rains. People dig up, dirt and mud and things like that, and sift it out and get like this nice clean clay. Jim doesn't pay a lot for it, but because it's so readily available, it's a good way to get a couple of extra bucks here and there for people. So there's a lot of people, and it's very dirty inside Jim's shop right now.
He'll kind of brush his way past and kind of make his way up to the counter. Kind of make himself known a little bit. He's trying to get helped as quick as possible. Kind of like a, you don't want me in your store too long type of thing.
Gotcha. For posterity, not necessarily just straight intimidation, but that's the most appropriate. Go ahead and give me an intimidation check. We'll do it at advantage because you have a little bit more of a presence about you, being clean and with the stuff that you've seen over the last couple days, even.
Okay, I'm just gonna move over to the other tab so people can see rolls coming through.
Sure.
You said intimidation?
Yes, intimidation at advantage. All right, so you make your way through the crowd, maybe moving people out of the way a little more forcefully than normal if they touch you, glaring at people who look at you. They look up and they've got mud streaks on their face and their clothes are dirty. A bunch of them are carrying like plastic jugs with water and things like that. You move past them and nobody tries to stop you. And you get up and Jim is arguing with a couple of women who have a bunch of these like plastic wrapped bricks almost of mud. They're probably 8 or 10 pounds a piece, and they've got like probably 20 of them stacked up in front of them. They're kind of sagging a little bit and things like that. And one of them barks out at Jim. I've been coming here since we got here 10 years ago. You've always paid top dollar. We have the best clay. We are the only ones who go down to the West Side Park. Look what we brought you. You're only going to give us $15 for this? I mean, just railing on Jim, and he's very calm looking, a little frustrated maybe behind the calmness, but he's just hands on the counter just watching, almost looking for an excuse to cut them off. And he sees you walk up. You see him kind of light up a little bit. Ma'am, I've got a prior engagement. Look, I will gladly take a look at what you've got, give it a second glance, but one of my premier customers who has set an appointment has finally made his way here. I just lost track of time. I apologize. I do not mean to waste your time, but please let me deal with the good doctor, and we will come back around to this. You have my most gracious word that I will take care of you. And she kind of huffs a little bit and looks back at you, still carrying that little bit of the intimidating glare. Your mask is still up on your face.
When she looks at me, he's gonna say, "Noted. Best clay comes from the West Side Park."
At that statement, she puts her arms around the clay and backs up and mutters to her friend, "He doesn't know which part of the park." I mean, just like grunting as she backs off, and Jim looks at you and docks his hat down a little bit. Ooh, thank you kindly for showing up. You could not have picked a better time, Doctor. What can I do for you?
We had a deal, Jim. You said 6 bullets. I have 6 bullets.
Really? You only been gone, what, 2 days?
I told you I'd come back with it.
I ain't a man to doubt, but you weren't even sure if you could find bullets a couple days ago, and now you've come back with them. You really are a miracle worker. Let's see. And he holds his hands out and kind of gives the give it here with both hands. Very excited about this.
He has 6 jacketed rounds and a shotgun shell. He'll put the 6 in front of Jim, and then he'll put the shotgun shell down, as well as the revolver, kind of off to the side. Like, here's the 6 rounds, and also I got this.
Ooh. Before we get into this too far, may have a bearing on which of these rounds I'm willing to take. I mean, I'll take whatever you're offering, of course, but is that their revolver for sale?
It might be. First, I'd like to square away our deal, and then I'd like to shop around, see what else you got.
Hey, I didn't call you a premier customer for nothing. You know what you want, and I can respect that. So, 6 rounds. You see here, you got 6 of these, and he kind of rolls his fingers across the jacketed ones. 6 of these here, jacketed rounds, and 1 mighty fine-looking shotgun slug. Any preference on which one I take, or am I just allowed to pick and choose?
Well, I have these rounds here for you, and the shotgun shell is also on the table, but afterwards.
That is more than fair. And he pulls the 6 jacketed rounds and rolls them off the counter towards his hand. Now, what else might you be looking for, sir?
Hmm. Have you got any new alcohols or distilled water?
Well, as you can see, my distilled water supply is about to be fantastically resupplied. It's going to take a couple of days, you understand that, of course. I do have a couple of gallons of it left if you need some right now. As for alcohol, let's see here. And you hear him, he kind of leans down, still keeping eyes above the counter, but clanking some bottles and things around. No, it's oil there, and ooh, I forgot I had the gasoline. Here we go. Clunk, clunk, clunk. He brings 3 bottles up on top. One of them is a very square bottle, has a brown liquid inside, almost assuredly Jack Daniels or some sort of bourbon. Probably not 100 proof or higher. The second is a clear alcohol, and it's just got a big like G etched in the glass that somebody has scratched in with like a rock. Listen here, grain alcohol. I'm probably gonna guess, I don't know, just pure grain. And let's see here, this one, and he pops the top off because this is a dark, like black bottle. Pops the top off and smells it. Ooh, damn. Yeah, that one there, I'd say 120, 150, something like that. Definitely tequila. Haven't smelled that in a while, but I ain't never gonna forget it. So, got here some bourbon. Mighty fine choice, if I say so myself. Just a standard grain alcohol right here. Probably wheat, I don't know for sure. And then tequila, which is a rare commodity.
First, can I see my other package that I'm picking up?
Forgive me. It'll be faster if I ask you rather than digging back through. Which package
It's
were we
gonna be
waiting on?
faster if you dig back through because I can't open it up right. I can't open it up right now.
That is fair. 1 second. The tungsten filaments is what I have here.
I got one of those already. I don't know if that's still
Yeah.
part of this package.
Yeah, we had one. It looks like we had one, a second tungsten filament, and fresh red cap shrooms is what I have here. Oh, wait, and hold on. It's a tungsten filament, red cap shroom, and oak sap. And I thought we had fish mucus as well, but I'm not seeing that on here.
Yeah, I thought we had something for fish mucus as well. You know what? Just we can go back in the VOD and see what it is. You can just say that he gives me the package. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fair. So he pulls that out, apologizes. Sorry, got ahead of myself. Very excited about that there revolver. And he kind of leans his hip up and shows an empty leather holster, very Old West. Been looking for something to put in here for quite some time. You know how it is. Very sorry. And he goes down and pulls up a like a wax paper package that's tied up with a little twine, and has the doctor just written across it, kind of scrawled in, and he slides that across.
He'll take that and put it in his bag.
Now let's talk about that there shotgun round and that beaut of a revolver.
Yes, I've given you, or I've taken the liberty to give you a list so you can have it on you. Maybe you can set aside some things if they ever come in. You can check to see if you have anything on the list right now. And so he'll hand him a list. It's got mineral oil on it, sulfur, distilled water, oak sap, red caps, fish mucus, 100 proof alcohol, tungsten filament, and moonstone.
Alrighty. He's like going down through the list. Well, I got plenty of mineral oil still. Well, not plenty, but I'm sure more than enough than what you're gonna need. Distilled water we already talked about. Alcohol, and he kind of boop boop clinks the bottles a little bit. Fish mucus, I think we can figure something out there. Oak sap, pretty easy to get somebody doing that. Sulfur, little difficult to get sulfur. Tungsten filament, I can have some people get hands on those. You get a lot of people bringing in light bulbs and things like that. Never knew that that was that popular, but then again, never knew that we had doctors running around, so. And mushrooms and a moonstone. Well, I think I could fulfill most of this out of stock in the back. Moonstone may be a little difficult, but everything else we can put hands on most all of this. But for the gun, we looking to get out of here today with any of this, or are you trying to leave an open-ended order?
Well, let's see what you have. It might be enough to equal the gun. Then we can call this.
Well, I know I have more than enough for the gun. Whether you sell it to me or you sell it to somebody else doesn't matter. I'm going to get my hands on it. But all that being said, let's see, for this gun and the shotgun shell. I tell you what, we can do. Yeah, I think we can do 2 of these here bottles. Get one of them guaranteed to be 100 proof. The other one, we can check really quick if you don't have a problem with that. If we do both of those, and I can do a couple grams of this, of the tungsten. I have plenty, like I said, light bulbs in the back. It'll only take me a few minutes to pull the filaments out. Or nice, fresh, cultivated red camp shrooms. Just try not to tell too many people where you got them from, as he kind of leans in and say that. So we can do what I'm saying here, 2 bottles, and either the mushrooms or the filament, your choice. That'll be more than I'll even throw in 1 bottle of the mineral oil. Had somebody find a baby supply store or something, brought me a bunch of bottles of it a couple of months ago, and just haven't had the time to put it on the shelf. Forgot it was there until I'm checking here in this registry. So 2 bottles of alcohol after we verify they're 100 proof, 1 bottle of mineral oil, and filaments or mushrooms, your choice, for the gun and the shell.
That sounds fair. I'll take that with the filaments.
All right, fair enough. Let's make sure that we're good here. And he pops open the grain alcohol and just drips a little bit out onto the counter. He pulls a match, lights it, and holds it over. And before it even hits the, well, let's find out. Actually, roll a D100 and just stay above a 25. So before the match even connects with the liquid, the fumes ignite and it goes down, catches the liquid on fire. It burns a very pale blue, and he waves his hand over it. Hell yeah, that's got to be at least 120. So 2 bottles of alcohol, pushes them across, goes underneath. And there we go. Fucker slippery. Picks up brings up a bottle of like Johnson & Johnson mineral oil, puts it on the counter as well. And you said filaments, right?
Yes.
All right, just give me 1 second. And he just leans over to like a 16-year-old boy, and he motions him over and he just comes and stands. He has got like half of a comic book that he lays out, and he looks you kind of up and down and other people, but he doesn't say anything. Jim goes in the back, the door right behind him. You hear some clattering and stuff around. About 45 seconds, and he comes back out with the caps, like the metal bottom of light bulbs, that still have the filaments in them, no glass or anything. And he pops 5 or 6 of the filaments out, and he doesn't roll them together or anything to damage them, but he holds them in his hand, and then he puts them on a little digital scale that he's got, and kind of smacks the back a little bit, and it turns on, and it comes out, and it shows 1 gram, or excuse me, 5 grams, and which is 1 unit. It's all that matters for you. And then he pulls them off, grabs a little piece of like wax paper, makes a little half-ass bag out of it, and ties that closed with just 2 or 3 inches of twine. All right, 2 bottles of alcohol, 1 bottle of mineral oil, maybe a little leaky. I apologize. Maybe put it in a glass container or something, and 5 grams of tungsten for whatever the hell you're going to use that for.
Great. I'll leave that list with you. Keep an eye out for me.
He holds out a little finger gun, and you got it. Anytime, anytime. And he spins the drum on the revolver, clicks the hammer back and forth a couple of times, actually drops the jacketed rounds into it, spins it one more time, and slips it into the holster on his hip. Doctor, if there ain't nothing else, enjoy that alcohol. And like I said, I'll keep an eye out. You come back anytime at all.
Counting on it, Jim.
All right.
He'll grab his stuff and walk back to the lab.
Fantastic. All right. So Hannah, you've just finished talking with Darian. He's done the things that has happened in the RP that I'll get put in with spoilers here, and by the end of the session, obviously. But he's left to go get just a little bit of rest. And has said that he'll be back tonight. He wants to help with the thing that you asked him to help with, but he's leaving you alone for now. So what are you up to?
Okay, so Darian parted ways and went somewhere else.
Yeah, he said he was just going to go get a little bit of rest, kind of clear his head a little bit.
Okay. Hannah's gonna head back to Minerva's and go talk with Genevieve.
I lost you at the tail end of that. You're going to head back and talk
with whom?
Genevieve.
Genevieve. All right. So you head on over to Genevieve's place. Normally, at this point in the day, anytime that you've been over, she's been outside, fixing boards on her house or sweeping, doing something to stay busy. But she's not outside right now.
Hannah will go up and knock on her door. Genevieve, are you home?
Go what? Wait. Hannah, is that you?
Yes.
One second, child. And you hear some like shuffling and things like that. She opens her door up just enough where she can kind of lean her head out. You see her like her eyes are kind of swollen up a little bit, very very bloodshot. Does not look like she has slept. I mean she's very distraught. So she kind of looks you up and down. Can I help you with something?
You're taking this very, very hard too. Do you want to be alone? I was going to ask a favor.
No, I can help. It's just running out of people that are even close to my age. You understand.
I do. Bubby. I thought Bubby would be like a statue that just never moved, but I understand. Um. Sorry. In our I wanted to ask. I went to go see Rabbi Ruth. I'm sure Bubby has talked about her before. Um, in Jewish funeral tradition, I was never very good at following it, but Bobby would want me to. The rabbi reminded me that having someone to watch uh, watch the deceased at all times until the burial is expected, and I have to go somewhere. Would you be willing to?
Is- She's covered, right? I don't have to see her or anything. Just be around, make sure she's not touched, right? That's like you
Yes,
understand.
you don't have to do anything. I can even put her under her covers. She is prepped for the funeral. It's just a matter of having someone watching over. Nothing needs to be done, and I won't be gone long. And Martin, do you remember Martin?
Vaguely, more from mm, more from how Minerva talked about him, but yes.
Well, he might end up being. He's going to meet me here. Um, if he stops by, he will likely be able to wait for me. And then, if that's the case, you don't need to stay any longer. I just have to check a few one thing, and then I would be.
Ah, I think I'll be all right. I think I can handle that. It's the least I could do for you, and if it helps her move on to where she needs to be, I would be, I would be honored to help.
Thank you, thank you so much. Um, okay, and thankfully, the rep uh, dines with the governor. So Bobby May gets funeral or burial rites in the garden itself, which would be great. Um, I find out about that tonight or tomorrow morning. I think I'm not sure, but I have so many things to talk to you about. Bobby also left you things, but I'm sure that can be done tomorrow. Sorry, I am rambling. Yes, yes, I'll go now, and I'll be back as soon as I can.
You take your time, child. I'll go and keep watch, and I'll keep myself busy. Maybe I can clean up a little bit or something like that. Is that all right?
Yes, yes, that's fine.
All right. Well, I will. I'll take care of that. Just I'll see you when you get back. Take all the time you need.
Thank you, thank you. And Hannah will start walking towards the bazaar.
All right. The sullen walk to the bazaar. Man, I wonder why the session is called what it is. Well, um, sorry, trying to interject a little bit of humor in there. Let's go to Professor November
Yeah.
in an interesting state. So you've woken up, you've been awake probably for, well, I guess you never technically slept.
No.
You've started to come around, and
Yes.
it's been about an hour. You're starting to get more cognizant again.
Fair.
Uh,
I'm naked,
Shocker.
and I've been sitting in Indian style, cross-legged. So he'd start. Can I do? This is a good question. As a wizard, can I do my portent rolls if I haven't slept?
What does the feature say?
I
Is it
don't. Yeah, glimpses of the future. When you finish a long rest. Oh, I never had a long rest.
Correct. Yeah, you have been. You're suffering from exhaustion even from that fact.
Okay, that's perfect. I'm exhausted, but I have to get up. I gotta get dressed. So I gotta go do things.
Give me a
I got things on my
dexterity
mind.
save. Give me a dexterity save.
All right, fine.
We're looking for a 12 or better. DC 12.
DC 12.
All right, so you stand a little wobbly on your feet, but you catch yourself. Give me a wisdom save, 14.
Okay, I love it.
So when you stand up, your vision fades just a little bit. And when it kind of comes back into focus, there are little. What frame of mind is the professor in? Are you sullen? Are you happy? Just give me like a basic emotion.
Driven. I guess that's not an emotion.
I would take driven or
Determined?
motivated. Determined works. Yeah.
Determined.
Okay. So when your vision readjusts, there are very clear, like bold font numbers that just like they come out of the couple of holes in the in the roof of your hovel, and they like swoop down and like slam in front of you. Invisible glass kind of breaks as they smash in front of you, and like
Mhm.
these equations just appear to you for a moment. You realize that it is not your own writing, that it is more of maybe a revelation or a hallucination. You're able to refocus yourself. You take note of what they are, and they fade in this like sparkling smoke in front of you. Continue.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So okay, so he's wake up. He's obviously a little bit disheveled, but he's gonna put on his clothing, and then he's going to search through his stuff to see if he's got a razor, which he doesn't have. But he's looking for one to see. He knows he's had them before. But what I do find, I think I got the K-bar military knife. I'm gonna just try to I'm gonna find some water in a cup or some sort of liquid in a cup, and I'm gonna try to trim my I'm gonna try to shave a little bit with the K-bar knife. Not my mustache, but my cheeks.
Yeah. Top of you're trying to just clean up a little bit. So tops of the
Yes,
cheeks, under the chin, maybe along the edges of your sideburns. You're just cleaning up a little bit or attempting to.
absolutely.
So let's do. Are you trained in sleight of hand?
No.
All right. So just give me 2 dexterity checks. Try and keep both of them. I mean, you don't have any control. Try and keep both of them above a 13.
Ooh. Aw.
All right. So you. Does the professor start with the face or start with the neck?
Oh, starts at the face. Always does the cheeks, end with the neck.
As any man should. All right. So go in. You have the K-bar, you run it across the, one of the cement pieces on the ground, make sure it's nice and sharp, run your finger across it, and then get down on the sideburns. They're nice and trimmed up. Get across the cheeks. Very, very fine, looking in, a musty piece of metal as a reflective surface, but enough where you can see. But the lines are nice and sharp. And then you readjust, grab some water and wash that off. You're pretty happy with that. And you raise your neck to go, and right before the blade makes contact, another set of numbers comes down, and it surprises you, and you just clip right along the Adam's apple. You're bleeding pretty bad. I mean, I'm sure you've cut yourself shaving in the past. You know what I'm talking about. So you nick across the top of the Adam's apple. Immediately, the blood starts going down. It stains the top of your shirt a little bit. You're able to stop it at that point, but you have nicked the skin and are bleeding some.
Okay. Well, obviously he's like, shit, fuck. I don't know if he's got. Definitely doesn't have tissues. Definitely doesn't have toilet paper. He probably is going to just have to take a piece of cloth or a piece of paper out of his out of his notebook, because definitely has paper. Steals a corner, a piece of paper, crinkles it up, covers the blood stains, and then he's going to get dressed and he's going to go see the sheriff.
All right. So you clean that up, and you have it kind of patched. Maybe you're holding a finger over it as well, with a piece of newspaper or something like that. And you finish cleaning up the, around your neck and on the lower end of your chin, and you are headed to see the sheriff.
Yes. Before I leave, though, I am going to just look through that bag. There was the mystery weight in the bag, right? I never actually explored that.
I think we did offline, like, right. You had done it before you partook in your extravagance.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah. So you should have that note of what was found in there.
I'm gonna look for it.
I can also whisper that to you.
If you remember. I didn't write it down, or if I did.
I have it.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Perfect. So yeah, he's gonna take that with him, as well as I do have some other items that he's gonna take with him. But his first stop is the sheriff. He's gonna walk through the market, but he's gonna go directly to the sheriff.
All right. So your place is on the edge of the washways. Kind of in the gray area of town, not the black, darkest, but kind of on the edge. It's where the doctor likes to be, or the professor likes to be.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a wisdom save. 14 is the DC on this. Ooh.
Natural one.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you are tormented is the wrong word. You step outside, the cool air from the washways, it's kind of mingling with the warmer air from the main section of the garden. They're mixing together here. The smells, everything is just a lot for your senses in their current state.
Mm-hmm.
And your vision gets cloudy again. So you stop, and as your vision clears, in front of you is Minerva. Very opalescent. You can see past her, and nobody else seems to notice that she's standing there. But she's standing, she's got her arms crossed, and she's tapping her foot.
Oh, like she's am I getting the impression that she's like waiting for me? Like, is it that kind of tap? Like she's like tapping her wrist?
No, she's like tapping just the end of her foot a little bit. She is, so this is kind of a mix between this looks like Minerva, and you've seen her frustrated with you before when you've been babbling in the past, but part of this, this is the critical failure coming in.
Okay.
A lot of these mannerisms that she's got, one of the tics maybe, she brings her hand up and she's moving hair away from her face that isn't there. It's something your wife used to do. So it's almost a mix of a frustrated wife in the body of Minerva.
Oh.
She hasn't said anything, but she seems very cross with some decision that you have made.
Okay. I'm gonna walk towards it. He'll walk towards the ghost specter image and see if he can interact with it physically.
So you step forward towards it, and you're just gonna like kind of reach out and touch.
Yeah, he's just like walking towards it to see if any maneuvers change, and if they don't, then he's gonna just like extend his hand to just be like, "Is this real?"
So you walk towards, nothing changes. She brushes hair away from her face that isn't there again, what your wife would have done, because her hair was hanging down in her face when she was disheveled. So there's nothing there. She still does the hand motion, but she doesn't do anything else. Give me 1 second here.
Mhm.
All right, so you reach your hand out. Give me another wisdom save. We're looking for that 14 again.
7.
So you reach your hand out before you can actually touch. She whips her hand out, and even though you see it, I'm doing air quotes that you can't see. Even though you see her hand pass through yours, you also feel it, and it's like your body just reacts as if you're going to be struck,
Oh.
batting your hand away. So, hopefully that makes sense. Like you see the hand pass through, but at the same time, your hand still moves. You still feel the connection of like skin on skin as she bats your hand away.
Weird. Okay. Well, I think he'll back away from this. He's like, it's making him uncomfortable. So he's like, okay, forget this. Forget this. You know, you're being very unreasonable. And then he's saying that to the specter, and he's gonna turn and try to hurry away. If if the opposite direction of them is not a direct route, like towards the markets, and it's like going further into the spillways, then that's fine. He'll take the long way if he has to, but he wants to move away from this specter.
Give me another wisdom save.
Natural one.
All right, so you turn to walk away. You said, you said what you said. A little frustration in there. And as you turn away, you hear, and you can't tell if it's Minerva's voice or your wife's voice. It's been so long since you've heard your wife's voice that it's very difficult to tell. But
Yeah.
you hear, walking away from your troubles again, just like before.
He like stops dead in his tracks, and like you could like if you were seeing him as he's like storming away, he stops dead in his tracks. He like drops the backpack. He like turns around real fast and turns right back. Picks up the backpack, turns and faces her, and as he's walking towards her, he's like screaming. He's like, "Fine, it's always your way or the fucking highway. I understand, but fine, we'll do it your way. We'll do it your way." And he's gonna keep walking towards the specter. Where are we going? Lead the way.
Where should we go?
We should go to the sheriff to see about getting a suit. What's the big deal? You know he's got one, or he probably knows someone who's got one, and I need to get a better suit because you can't have a brown suit.
Do you think I care? And like when the I comes through, it's again, it is very clearly Minerva's voice at one point, very clearly another voice, probably your wife's. But that I is very, very staunch. Do you think I care what you look like? You haven't even paid respects. This is what happened last time as well.
You have to get. You have to do it the right way. I mean, that's how you have to do it. And sometimes doing it the right way is not always the same for everyone. Okay? But fine. Fine. We'll do it your way. And he's going to walk towards he's going to walk past Hannah's shop.
One more wisdom save as you start walking that direction. Same DC. So as you walk towards to go like past the apparition, your head's getting kind of heavy, and vision kind of clouds again. When it readjusts, instead of the form of Minerva, it is the form of your wife, but it's kind of blurry, kind of black and white. The color's faded. It's like a memory that's very difficult to hold on to, and more clearly your wife's voice rather than, or the other voice rather than Minerva's. And where are we going? If it's my way, I would have said, are we going to the school? Are we going to the sheriff? Are we going to get more drugs?
We don't need more. We're going to be making them. We'll have as much as we need, okay? We'll have as much as we need. I'm trying not to get it from... It's medicine. It's medicine. Comes from the earth. What's the big deal? I'm picturing him having this like bickering fight with this like ghost wife as he's like storming and walking. You'll see when we get there. And yeah, so he wants to take a long route past Hannah's shop, but he's going to go to Minerva's.
So as you're walking, as you're kind of transitioning away from, as you're transitioning out of the washways toward the bazaar, the apparition is still following along kind of briskly and gets ahead of you and is like walking backwards. And which is easier? Is it easier to walk away from me, as it's the form of your wife, that kind of hazy black and white, and then it changes? Or is it easier to leave me behind, to collect whatever it is you're collecting? And it's Minerva's form, but with the, still the cross voice.
We've been over this. We've been over this countless times. Okay? I'm not going to have to explain every decision I make because I haven't made a plan yet, okay? There's a lot of variables. He seems very annoyed that not everybody is on board with his plan. And by everybody, he means his wife and Minerva. And himself. He's second guessing himself, but yeah, no, he's gonna keep going towards Minerva's.
Give me a perception check, disadvantage because of the exhaustion.
10.
All right. Everything else looks fairly normal. One more wisdom save.
13. Or 15. I don't know if that's a disadvantage.
Saves are not at disadvantage yet. So the apparition is still kind of in front of you, walking backwards as you're, hunched and pressing onward, and it just apparates. It changes back and forth, kind of one more time. Minerva, wife, Minerva, and then just kind of a smoky disappearance. And in the back of your mind, you hear, "Then I'll just leave."
Well, I didn't say that. Even arguing with you is better than not. He's a little bit bummed. He's that brings him down a little bit.
Sure. Dylan, you were moving through. I apologize. I don't remember where Hannah was headed, but you were going towards town again. Where were you going one more time?
Going to the bazaar.
All right. Dylan and Graham, give me D100s. If you are within 20 of one another, you will cross paths.
Dang.
So the professor takes the south end, and Hannah takes the north end. Where are you going in the bazaar, Hannah?
First stopping by my shop to check it out, and then going to, I guess it is Jim, because I pawned the Bible there, and I kind of want that back.
Graham, did you say you were going to Hannah's shop first, or were you going to the sheriff first?
I'm gonna roll a 1d2 for when I get to the shop. One is past Hannah's. Two is still good. He changes his mind and goes to the sheriff once he has his wife not nagging him about it. He goes to the sheriff.
All right. That is a-okay. All right. So we'll cut back to Hannah as you get to you're going to the shop and then to Jim's, you said, or just straight to Jim's first?
My shop first.
All right. So you get to your shop. It is untouched, cold, unwelcoming, depressing. I don't have any other words.
She's just checking to make sure nothing was stolen or destroyed or anything bad before locking up again and moving to join.
Yeah, no, it's fully good. This is midday on the 7th day, by the way, Doc, for your journal. So 7th day post the 21st. I guess that would technically be the 27th. I had the 28th, but I was incorrect because I don't know how to use math. Let's see. So your shop is head up. Your head over to Jim's. The same description still stands. Plenty of people trying to sell water and mud or clay. And I mean, some other things, like there's some people with like night crawlers, some wood maybe that was exposed by the rain in different places, things like that. But it's a bunch of very dirty people. The shop, it smells very musty because it's been going on for half the day now.
She'll kind of push her way through. See, she's not actively making a presence known like the doctor had, but she's just trying to get to the closest to Jim. She's half-assing her presence, so to speak.
Kind of waiting to be acknowledged.
Um, she'll try and get his attention after 5 minutes pass. If
All right.
he does not see her or care to talk to her.
There will be so before the 5 minutes passes. So Jim finishes up with somebody about 2 minutes after you get there, and he hits his hands on on his counter. Look, I don't have any more room for water. I ain't got no more room for clay. Y'all can come back to. I'm tired of buying shit. If anybody wants to spend some money, make a trade, I'll talk to them. But I ain't. Jim Davies ain't buying no more mud, ain't no more water, no more any of this. If you got something worth a damn, come on up. But I would much rather sell something than buy all of y'all's. There's plenty other places where you can sell all this crap.
Hannah will walk forward. I want to buy the Bible I pawned to you.
Bible. Pardon me one moment, ma'am. It has been a hell of a day. But let's see here. And he pulls out a little notebook and flips through. Looks like you had at least 2 more weeks left, so this would be just a straight back and forth. There's no interest, none of that yet. So, one moment, please. Do you remember how much we pawned that off for?
$15.
That sounds about right. I'm going back through and double checking here as well. So Jim comes back after like a minute in the back, and he comes back up and he's got a Bible, a piece of paper on it that says Hannah Hirschhorn on it. He pulls the piece of paper off and he sets it down in front of you. Just buy back straight. I was not able to find it. We'll say 15. I'll go back and check like we're going to do for Jeff's as well. We can augment if needed, but we'll go for 15 right now.
Sounds good.
All right. So he slides that across. I'm assuming you pay the man.
She does.
Is there anything else I can do for you, Miss Hirschhorn?
No. Goodbye. And she leaves and goes back to Minerva's farm.
All right. Boop boop boop. Doc, you get back to your place, and you have all of your stuff collected that you have traded for and purchased. What are you up to next?
First things first, he wants to check on the jar.
The jar is intact, but the levels on it are a little lower than they were a couple days ago.
Okay, once he's done extracting some samples from like one of the arms he took, or whatever he ended up taking the samples for, whatever body part it was, he's gonna kind of throw that in the jar and see how it reacts.
Just a chunk of the sample.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be any kind of immediate reaction. So the first thing that happens, obviously, the goo inside it, it sinks down into that. Or you're not clearing it, so it still has the top of the lard as well on it. So you're just dropping it on top, or you're like digging a little hole and putting it in, or what?
Nope, just dropping it on top.
Okay. It just sits on top. Doesn't have any kind of immediate reaction with it. Sinks down just a little bit maybe, but it's it's that heavy kind of Crisco lard, so it doesn't really go far at all. But there's enough room to close the jar back up if you would want to, and maybe check later.
He'll kind of take some sort of rod and just kind of push it down, not to the point where he can't see it anymore, but just to see what happens.
Enough where it's submerged, though.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so like 80% of it is now down in the lard. There's a little piece of it still sticking up, and nothing apparent happens like on the surface, at least not right away. But with the pace that give me an intelligence check at advantage because you've checked this a few times. Arcana, if you're trained in it, would be even more appropriate. All right. It's puzzling. There's not really much more to say than that. You don't necessarily know what you expected to happen, but it certainly wasn't nothing. But nothing else is really going on currently.
Okay, he'll put the lid back on and leave it.
All right. Doing anything else or just recouping still?
He wants to look at the samples from Alex, and he wants to kind of see if he can determine whether it was the mushrooms that caused such a weird mutation to happen when he enlarged.
Sure. So you break out Alex's samples, kind of lay them out on one of your more clean surfaces, and you're taking a look at those. Give me investigation at advantage. 2 of them, please. Oh, fantastic. All right, so get in real close, maybe use some, one of your beakers kind of as a ad hoc magnifying glass, and, you enlarge a little bit. You're looking at it, and you can see that you've seen necrofying, skin before. You've had people leave body parts and stuff behind or whatever from healing, and you've seen stuff decay. This isn't decaying; it is changing. Um, there's no. You find some remnants of like the serum that was in some of the heavier capillaries and stuff like that. You can tell that it is what it is because of the color. It's different than the black that is starting to take over from everything else. Um, but it's almost like the body is not the body, the flesh is rejecting it, like it's trying to expel it. So give me an Arcana at advantage. So you can almost unequivocally put together that the strangeness in the mutation was probably from the mushrooms, but it did not have any effect on whatever happened to Alex that turned him into what he was. So the disproportionate growth probably from the offbeat mushrooms. The rapid change into a K-list, not your doing. You're able to resolve that in your head.
Doctor's log. Alex, sample 1. The turned blood is rejecting the serum. This isn't good. Let's see, the serum was... I believe... water-based. So the cure probably isn't water-based. We'll have to test with mineral oil or alcohol. Note, the turning wasn't my fault, but we already knew that. Also, it was definitely those damn mushrooms. End log.
So you get that all recorded down in. The first sample is presumably put away. Are you doing anything else with the other samples or anything else around the lab?
Yeah, he wants to take like a little bit of the blood, the black blood.
Okay.
And he wants to just put like a drop or a couple drops of the alcohol on it, as well as a drop or two of the mineral oil. See how it reacts. Looking for if
Sure.
if it seems to be absorbing or rejecting.
Absolutely. So we start with the alcohol. So just a drop of the alcohol, or drop or two, not enough to affect the total of it being 1 unit by any means. The alcohol, so it mixes together just like you would expect alcohol and any other liquid really to mix. But then it like bubbles some, and then there's almost like a popping sound. There's no smoke or anything, but it's almost like it's boiling. And then the alcohol comes back to the surface. And if you've ever seen like water on a penny, that surface tension kind of bubble, it comes up like that, and then it falls to the sides. So the blood is almost actively separated itself from the alcohol and pushed it away, and it just goes out onto the metal of your this examination table that you're looking at it on.
Describe the mineral oil first.
The mineral oil, so you wipe away the alcohol a little bit, and then you do the mineral oil, and the same thing happens. Each reaction takes about 30 seconds to a minute, but it rejects the mineral oil as well. First it mixes, and then it separates out and bubbles down to the sides.
Doctor's log. The cure. Alcohol, water, mineral oil. All rejected. Must be some other liquid base I'm not thinking of. End doctor's log. That's pretty much it for now. I'll come up with a couple other things that he'll want to test.
Oh, for sure. All right. The professor gets to the guard post, the main guard post where the sheriff is at. There's a couple of guards outside. One of them's smoking a cigarette. Another one's eating a sandwich. It is around it's a little after midday at this point.
Okay.
But the door is open. There's a couple of people inside. Somebody complaining about a broken door. Somebody else saying that they got ripped off and they want to report somebody in the bazaar. There's other guards that are dealing with them. The sheriff's door is closed in the back of the guard post, and there's nobody in the cell currently.
All right. He's gonna try to like pump himself up a little bit. Like he's like shaking out. He's like got the nerves of like walking here. He's literally like doing a little stretch, trying to get pumped up. Like, okay, don't look fucked up. Don't look fucked up. That's basically what he's thinking. And he's gonna walk up towards one of the guards.
Constitution save first. Let's see how not fucked up you look. Yeah, you still look pretty. I mean, you're not aware of it, but
Yeah,
just
yeah.
know that you're. You could feel kind of the haze in your head, and you're like, "Oh, I really hope this doesn't show on my face."
Yeah.
And you go up to one of the guards who is standing idly by.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes. What can I do for you?
Yeah, I'm sorry to bother you. I was wondering if I could speak with the sheriff.
May I ask what this is about?
It's a very quick personal matter.
Personal matter. Name?
Yes. Professor November.
Professor. Oh, okay. One moment, please.
Thank you.
He
Thank you.
he steps away and knocks on the door. You hear a muffled like, "Enter," and he just pops the door open just enough to kind of lean his head around, and you hear kind of an exchange back and forth for a second, and then a very boisterous, "What the?" Send them in. And the guard turns around and opens the door a little further and gives you the motion of, come on.
I'm gonna walk in, and like as I walk in, I'm gonna be like, I know.
He motions without even looking up from the relatively nice desk in this office area. He motions toward the door to make sure it is closed.
Close the door.
Before we even get started, if I'm talking or asking a question, just let me finish. That's all I ask.
He's waiting for the question. He's like hanging on. He goes to answer, but he's like, "Are you asking me something?" And he's leaning in a little bit.
Not even a day. Not even a day. Why are you here?
Two things. I just wanted to give you an update on Bandit's location, and also I was going to ask if like I know how I look, but I need a black suit. I have to go to a funeral.
And he looks around the room a little bit. Does this look like a shop to you?
No, but I thought maybe you knew somebody, or I could just borrow a jacket. Maybe you've arrested somebody that was at a black tie event, and then they left their coat behind. I don't know if I'm not really made of money.
Look. Go and talk to anybody else in the bazaar. It doesn't matter. I don't have anything. I don't know where to get these things. I don't even do funerals.
Oh, I thought,
Bandit.
Sorry. He's like, he sits on his hands.
Look, I want to do my job, which is to hear what you have to say. I thought I was very clear. If there's something with this contract, the doctor is who I want to talk to.
Well, yeah, but I haven't spoken to the doctor today, but I thought you'd want to know. I think she's definitely at the airport, probably making her way toward the Center for Disease Control. Okay, that's it makes perfect sense based on the map and the math. So, you know, I just thought maybe you had the suit, but if you don't have a suit, it's fine. No problem. I just thought you'd want to know. And he's like getting up, and he's gonna make his way to the door.
He just looks at you with that this fucking guy kind of look. Doesn't say anything and is almost anticipating you opening the door and leaving at this point.
Do you gotta buzz this door, or is it just? Oh, I just open it, and he opens it and leaves.
As you close the door behind you, I mean, even through the door, which is relatively thick, Jesus fucking Christ! And one of the guard that you spoke to kind of looks at you, and then he opens the door, gets yelled at very quickly as you're exiting, and he closes the door, and essentially the end of the encounter there. Where are you headed next?
Yeah, so he'll go to any the first store that he walks past on his way towards Minerva's. Any store, doesn't matter, just the very first one that has any kind of clothing in the window or any kind of like general store.
Sure, there's as you enter towards the bazaar to kind of cut through to head towards Minerva's, there is you see a shop that is essentially just almost like a stable, you know, wooden walls, most of a roof, not that it really matters since you're underground, but it's got like dowels and shower curtain rods and things like that, and there's like different woven clothing items kind of draped over, and you see some that look relatively most of them are like utilitarian, long sleeves, long pants, nothing too flashy, but a couple of them look like maybe they're made of silk and things like that.
Okay, he's gonna go in there, duck in there, and as he walks towards a human being, he's quickly scanning the shelves to see any kind of like dress jackets.
So you're digging through. The shopkeep watches you, but it's a young girl, 13, 14 at the most. You hear what sounds like a sewing machine in like a little small alcove that you can't see it. But it's just like this young girl, and she's got like a canvas and she's doodling or painting or something on it. You can't really tell. She just peeks over it every once in a while to make sure you're not doing anything.
Okay, yeah, I'm not trying to steal or anything, and he's not going to broach any conversation if he doesn't have to. If he can just like, if there's any kind of sports jacket that's nicer than the one that he's currently has on, ideally he's looking for black. Otherwise, a nice clean shirt. If there's a clean button-up shirt, he'd take that too.
Let's find out what state you're in. Give me a Constitution save, stay above a 12, and a Wisdom save. Oh, that's fantastic. So you've sobered up kind of greatly after that quick experience. Give me a Wisdom save as well, 12. Ugh. So the colors none of the colors make sense. Like you look at you do find like a twill jacket that looks like it is probably is a repurposed blazer, but it could probably be fixed down. Open the hems back up or something like that. But it looks brown at first, and as you kind of open it up and you close it back up, and then it looks almost like a dingy green. It's hard for you to tell what color it actually is. And you hear from behind you, Sir, you having a problem?
Uh, um, what color is this?
She looks down at her canvas and then back up at you and kind of strains her neck a little bit. That would be shit brown, sir.
But is it a uniform shit brown? Or is it like a dark shit brown, like a healthy shit, or like a green, runny shit? You know what I mean?
I would say it's healthy. We can dye it if you need to.
Oh, you can do that?
Yes,
What kind of colors?
that's how Mum What color would you like?
Well, I would love a tie-dye shirt. I don't know if you could do that, but I can come back for that later. But black suit would be great. I'd like a black suit. But this one I'm gonna take because it's nicer than what I'm currently wearing. So I'll take this one.
Pair of pants to go with it, or I'm sure we could put something together and make it black for you. It'd only take a couple of hours.
Oh, perfect. Beautiful. A black suit would be great. Do you guys do tailoring?
We are a seamstress shop after all, so yes, we do tailoring.
Oh, that one-stop shop. Then yes, I'll take a suit. Black suit. I'll also take this jacket. Right now. Or do you turn this one? Do you have more jackets?
We can get it however you would like. The entire package we could do for, well, what do you have?
Well, I got all kinds of stuff, but how much in dollars?
Mum hates dollars, but
Gold.
if 15 pieces, $1,500, that would do fine for something what you're looking for, with the dye job and the tailoring, of course, included.
Are you guys custom writing, something on the inside lining? And $1,500 for a suit? What do you think I'm made of money? That price is outrageous. Inflation is bad, but come on.
You're buying a suit when everyone else is looking for warmth and protection. So 1,500 to take out a very large portion of the day is more than reasonable. I can make it an even two if you would like.
No. Nope. How much for just this jacket? Right now as it is.
Jacket, right now as it is, 50.
$50?
$50, 50 of just about anything would do nicely, but yes, $50.
$50. And he takes off his new combat boots and he reaches in and he grabs a wad of money out of his boot. And he counts it out one by one as he unravels the boot. I'm pretty sure this is 50.
So I don't think either of them actually had a full 50. I
No.
think it was like 42
No.
and 47.
Yep. It's 42 and 47. I had 45 and 48, but 42 and 47.
Oh, no, 45 and 48 is probably correct. I just didn't scroll up. I just knew that they were both under 50. So you
So he
you
takes
count
out
out
48.
Sure. And
Grabs the next wad out of the. Oh, sorry. And he grabs the next wad. 1, 2.
she kind of holds it away from her and just sets it on the counter beside her. Oh God. Anything else?
No, I'm gonna come back and get a tie-dye shirt though. You ever make one?
Mum will surely know how to. If
They're
there's nothing
really
else,
fun.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Okay, see ya. And he leaves with the new jacket.
So as you cross the threshold of the store, you kind of stop. Give me a wisdom save one more time. Just 12 again.
6.
So you don't see anything, but you hear in your head kind of both of the voices at the same time. It may not have mattered what you looked like, but maybe you could have tried a little harder. And while it, like, right as the voice ends in your head, you feel a tap on your shoulder.
Oh, I'm gonna look.
Hello. Yes. I couldn't help but overhear you. I've been following you for a little bit of time. What you see is a person in front of you in leather armor with a bow strap behind their back, and also they have a hawk on their shoulder. They have very dark skin and short black hair, and a bit of some stern features. And I couldn't help but overhear you mention Miss Hirschhorn. I'm looking for a Miss Hirschhorn.
Minerva or Hannah?
There's two of them.
There are? I only know one of them each.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I only knew of one Miss Hirschhorn.
Which one are you looking for?
I don't know. I only knew her by her last name.
Oh. What does she look like?
Uh, Hard to describe. Old.
Old. Okay, yeah. Oh. What's your name again?
Taylor. And they'll hold out their hand. The
Hold
one that
out.
does not have the hawk on the shoulder.
Yeah. He looks at the bird, like, and he does like a Kramer move. You know when Kramer hears something and he goes, and he does that when he realizes the hawk is right there, and he reaches out, shakes the hand. His hand is wet, but like not like in a gross way. It's like he's definitely like sweating.
Taylor's smile will turn a little forced, and as soon as the hand is let go, they'll try and surreptitiously wipe it down.
Taylor, there's no real other way to say this. Minerva has passed.
Really?
Yes, very recently, but if you want to come, I'm going to pay my respects.
God damn it! I was just so close to meeting them finally. Ugh. All right, sure. Yeah, let's go. Oh, I'm sorry. Your name?
I'm Professor November.
It's nice to meet you, Professor. Professor of.
Mathematics.
Oh, cool. How did you know Miss Hirschhorn? I imagine they're saying this as they're walking now.
Absolutely. Walking, but like the professor's kind of like giving you sideways glances, like. Well, I met her through her granddaughter, her great granddaughter. Great. I honestly, I never get that right.
And that's the other one, Hannah. You said.
Yeah. How did you know Minerva?
That's a little weird. You probably wouldn't believe me. It's fine.
Oh, did you gone to her farm? Do you like
She
get
has a
milk from her?
Of course, she'd have a farm. No, I can't say I ever visited her there.
Oh.
Well, actually, maybe I did. Huh, it could have been a farm. You know, it probably was.
Yeah. Probably was a farm, but where are you from again?
Oh, I came up from Maine.
Oh. I haven't been to Maine in years.
It's I'll say there's a lot less roving dead around.
Oh, so you've seen them? And he stops suddenly in his tracks and like turns to you with great interest.
Perception from both of you, really quick. The professor doesn't notice, but the mysterious stranger who has, I guess, been identified as Taylor does notice. As he says, like kind of loud, "Oh, you've seen them," and then stops. A couple of people that are moving through the bazaar, like cock their head to the side and look at you both a little strangely.
Yes, I had to run away from them. They got my horse.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's all right. Taylor looks around at the people kind of staring at him. Is this not a conversation we should be having here?
Oh, right. Yes. No. The sheriff doesn't like us when we have these conversations in the street. And he's leaning in conspiratorially. Come with me. And he's going to, instead of directly to Minerva's, he's going to find an alley. They're like a place to sit down, even if it's like a park bench. I don't know if there are park benches in the...
There's not benches. I mean, there's like sections of like stone that had fallen down that just weren't worth moving. So you could easily find like a slab of stone from where everything kind of collapsed down that just hasn't been moved yet.
Okay.
No,
but yes.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, if she didn't warn me about them, I don't think I would have gotten away. They wasn't looking for them actively. They kind of blended in from some of the ashers out there.
Wait a second. You're in communication with her? When was the last time you talked to her?
3 days ago.
Oh,
That's when she told me.
he's thinking to himself. He's like, oh, I saw her like 3 hours ago. Less than 3 hours ago. Where did you see the Kalis? Do you know where in the city?
Oh, I don't know New York very well. It was a little south of here.
Yeah, south is bad. South is bad. And the water. They're coming from the water. They're actually coming from the other side of the water. Just so you know.
Do you know where they're coming from?
Oh, I have my suspicions. I've already told the sheriff.
Okay, why are we sitting here?
Oh, Minerva was killed by the Kalists.
Kalis, is that what you're calling them?
That's what Remy called them. And Remy was right. And yes, that's what I like to call them.
Okay. So she died too, one of them?
One of them, well, actually, it's more complicated than just that. And you see, it's contagious.
Contagious walking dead. Ugh.
Yeah.
Why would you call something that bad heavenly?
Because that's what Remy called it. And he must have called it that for a reason. We just don't know the reason yet. You see? And he like touches you like to point it home to you.
All right. Huh. They're looking at you kind of askance, like maybe you're maybe you're a little off kilter. Who knows?
Yeah, he definitely looks that way. But he's telling you the truth, as he sees it. I'm telling you the truth. So it's going to be a little, I think it's going to be a little bit awkward because I think it's kind of my fault that she was out there in the first place. I mean, definitely was my fault. So, just might be a little awkward, might be some tension. So, but gotta go pay the respects. So, just full disclosure, and there's aliens involved, possibly, but that's another disclosure conversation for another day. You want to go to Minerva's?
Sure, at least to meet Hannah. And I guess to pay my respects.
Yeah.
She never quite believed I was real. I was hoping to surprise her.
How did you guys really meet
Oh,
and talk? He's looking at the
in
bird.
in we met in dreams. It was a little weird.
Dream talking?
Kind of. It's it's a long story. I would rather not get into it right now. Is that all right? I'm probably going to have to explain it several times.
No, but when would you like to get into that? Because I would very much like to hear that conversation.
I
Can you?
can make sure you're involved with it if you must.
Yes. Or at least, can you dream talk to others?
Yes, it has to be specific types of people. I've only done it with maybe 4 or 5 others.
Excellent. It's a useful skill to have.
I mean, if you haven't experienced it yourself, you're probably not going to be able to.
Well, I think I'm on to discovering how. It has to be documented either way, even if I can't achieve it. I've seen it. You see? It has to be studied. We need to write these things down.
Sure, yes. So which way to this farm?
Oh, yeah. It's just around the bend. And then under the thing.
Lead the way.
So while you two are walking, Dylan, where's Hannah headed?
She's going back to Minerva's after
That's
Jim's.
right. That long walk. So you have arrived back at Hannah's. You give me how much are you paying attention to everything around, like as you get closer?
Half-assed. She's not ignoring, but she's not actively searching dark corners.
What's your passive?
Perception, sorry.
10.
All right, so you don't notice anything. So you get back. The door is closed to Minerva's place. Are you just walking in or knocking? How are you entering?
Oh, not my Genevieve. It's Hannah. I'm coming in.
Oh, yes. And you open the door. Genevieve is down on all fours, and she's like scrubbing underneath some of where Minerva had some of the like crates stacked up. She's moved those, and she's like scrubbing the floor some. Almost a pointless scrub since it's stone and dirt for all intents and purposes, but obviously keeping busy if nothing else.
Would you like help?
She looks down at the ground and then back up at you. If I'm being honest, I was just trying to keep busy. She stands up and kind of wipes her hands on her smock. If you're back, is there anything else I can? There's a knock on the door before she even finishes that, and she just stops immediately.
Martin, is that you? Hello?
Hannah, is that you?
Yes, yes, yes. Come in. Come in.
So he opens the door. You haven't seen him since the home, essentially. I mean, off and on a little bit, but since the last time you've seen him, it's been probably years. He is still very large, rotund, but it is that um, like strength competition sized, like Mark Henry, if you know who I'm talking about. So the gut is still there. There is like a layer of fat still on arms and legs, but it looks very solid, and he's almost like bulging out of his clothes. The shirt's just a little too tight, pants come up just a little too much above the ankles. But he's dressed in kind of some it's pretty fine clothing. Uh, a suit maybe that is half a size too small. Vest, like button down, like white thick cotton shirt and black cotton pants. And he does have a give me a perception check. Yeah, so he looks like he's trying, if nothing else. Got your message, ma'am. I I don't know what else to say.
I know. She wanted you here, though. Genevieve, you can go. Thank you so much.
Genevieve gives a nod and kind of looks back and forth between you and Martin, and then very mousily kind of scurries out of the house.
I hope your boss did not burn you with a cigarette while you were talking.
He almost has a smirk across his face, like it's just enough of a muscle flex to see, but he brings it back under control. No, and he rubs his hands together a little bit. I'm a bit beyond that now.
I'm glad for you then. She, when was the last time you talked to her?
Mm. And he kind of rubs the side of his face a little bit, obviously kind of lost in thought. It takes 10 or 15 seconds. She, mm, she tracked me down every couple of months. I don't know, 45, 60 days ago. Look,
You know.
what happened, eh, just enough to make sure I was alive mm, and she was too, and that's about it.
I understand. And I know how she could be. And she'll motion to the wrapped body on the. If you wanted to say anything, you can now. Save a week, I suppose. Rabbi Ruth is talking with the governor for burial rights in the garden.
He walks over towards it, the wrapped body, and he goes through his pockets some, and he pulls out what looks like the like side end, just one of the handles from like a rolling pin. The screw end still sticking out, but it's just the handle. There's no pin, no other handle, and he sets it down just like next to the body on the bed. I told you yeah, I held on to it as best I could. Sorry I lost the rest of it, but mm. And he kind of wipes his hands on his pants after he sets it down and he turns back around. So, tonight or tomorrow?
I don't know. The rabbi is supposed to have. She used the word "sat" for supper with the governor. I don't know if he'll say yes or when. She seemed confident, but I told her within a day I wanted to, and she said she didn't seem to object to it, so I imagine it would depend on when she can talk to him.
Huh. And not to be forward, ma'am, but what do we do until we find out?
Uh, you know, I didn't follow custom very well, or religion. She did, and part of it is someone to watch over her body until the burial. I've been here. Genevieve just left as I went to my shop, but it's really just sit. That's what I plan on doing. You don't have to. You can if you want, you're invited, but I understand you likely have other things that you might need doing.
Well, if you understand, you'll understand if I just take a leave for a little bit. I can come back after dinner and see if the good rabbi has come by. Maybe bring you a steak or something.
Or something. Yes, that's totally fine. Oh, steak, that actually reminds me. She left you a cow in her will. If I remember it correctly, it was she left you money and then said, along with that damn cow he wanted for the symphony.
This time he does not stop the smirk. Damn Minerva always waiting until I can't say anything back.
Yes.
Yeah, I can. I don't need the money. You're probably gonna need it, but I'll take the cow. I can get it after dinner. You know, been wanted to get it off my chest for a while. Funeral's probably not gonna be the place to do it, since we're laughing and sharing stories and all of that stuff. You know, your great however many back grandmother. You know, she used to play dead, right? Like, I know this isn't what's going on, but she would stay asleep for 10 or 15 minutes extra, scared the hell out of me literally every time. And I'm almost waiting for her to sit up right now.
It wasn't just her being old. You know, the first days she'd fuck with you.
Well, when she'd sit up, there would be that cackle that she had, so I'm pretty sure she was fucking with me.
Hannah slowly looks over at Bubby and goes, what the fuck? She never did that type of stuff with me.
Well, there weren't many of us after the whole fallen thing, so she was always trying to, I guess, keep people entertained and, well, I wasn't ever fully convinced that she was all completely there, so I guess she thought it was look, it was funny after it all came about, but every single time I thought I would be doing what you're doing now, so I just wanted to put that out there. I've been dealing with that for the last 20 years.
Wow. That is a good memory to imagine, actually. Thank you for that. Um, Before you go, also, where is it? And Hannah looks around a bit and trifles through some things. The deck of cards you two use, she wanted you to have that. I won't force the money on you. She's not alive anymore to be stubborn about it, and Genevieve can use it more than you, I think. But the deck of cards I don't want here. Here it is. Here. These are yours too. You can take these now.
He slowly holds out a hand and lets him drop in. And he looks at him a bit, pulls the pack of cards out and flips through, and one of the jacks he holds up. He holds it up like looking at the back, so you can see it's a jack, and then turns it around. Yeah, this is the set.
What? Why'd you pull that card out?
Oh, see, after the first 10 years of getting my ass kicked in Bridge or any of the other games that we were playing, figured a little advantage might help. And he turns the card back around so you can see the back. And that, shit, what's that pattern used on the back of the bicycle cards? You know what I'm talking about. Paisley.
Yeah.
So in one of the Paisley patterns, there's like a little black dot that he's holding his thumb next to. Just a little edge. You know how it is.
You cheated playing cards with she must have been, what, over 100 at the time?
Like I said, after a decade of losing, I figured a little edge every once in a while wouldn't hurt. Made the games more interesting, if nothing else.
After a decade, they expect you to just get better.
Yeah, you're her granddaughter, all right.
Indeed.
Thanks for the cards. I can take care of the cow when I get back. I got dinner. And he says that with a very, like, kind of venomous inflection. Dinner to deal with. And then we'll see where we stand with the rabbi. I'll bring some of the food back. Have a little semblance of tradition.
That sounds good. I'll talk to you then.
He gives a nod and he tucks the cards into an inside pocket on the vest and he leaves. You hear him just acknowledge somebody outside as he pulls the door closed. And
Before he pulls the door closed,
sure.
Martin,
Oh, yeah.
don't die.
If it was only that easy. And he just holds a finger out, just the kind of little point of acknowledgement, and puts one hand in the pocket and walks out. You can see over his shoulder that the professor has arrived with somebody different and new in tow.
Hannah walks out of the Minerva's house, closes the door lightly, takes about 5 feet from the door, and stares November down. What the fuck are you doing here?
I've come to pay my respects.
You got her killed.
Yes. He doesn't shy away from it. He says yes. I did.
She's staring at you in very heavy, focused breathing, as if she's really thinking hard about something.
I thought at least I could sit.
Taylor will speak up in the silence and be, hello, Hannah Hirschhorn?
Hannah's head whips to the voice because she didn't realize anyone was there, even though like she knew someone was there. She was so focused on November, and she whispers around, "Who? Who are you?"
So again, it's a rather lithe person with a dark skin and short black hair with a hawk on their shoulder. They're wearing like a thick, I don't want to say like maybe denim jacket. otherwise nondescript clothes, and a bit some stern features. Hi, I'm Taylor. Taylor Conaway. I knew your grandmother, Minerva.
No, you didn't. I've been with her every day for almost 2 decades now. There's no way I would have not known you if you knew Bubby.
Uh, did she ever talk about dreams she was having?
Um, no.
Well, occasionally when I sleep, I have rather lucid dreams, and occasionally, rarely, when I'm in them, I see other people. And your grandmother was one of them, and she never quite believed it was as real as I did. I don't think she thought that I was a person that actually existed. As far as I'm aware, I was the only one she ever saw there. But we talked, we chatted. She told me about you indirectly. She never talked about names. You're a smith, right?
Yes.
We would chat. She warned me about the dead, the Kalists that you had mentioned, and it saved my life a couple of days ago when I ran into them. Let's see.
Are you from the church? We've run into your. No, they don't do that usually. Where? Who are you from? Like, what group are you with that you know all of this?
She's from Maine.
Shut up.
Sorry.
He's right. I'm from Maine. I come from. Did you ever go to Acadia National Park?
No, no, I did not.
Well, when the falling happened, I was there. I was at summer camp actually. It's located on an island, and the rangers and the counselors who survived, we managed to pull together some semblance of a society. I was there for quite some time. Um, that's where I'm from.
The insight check is just in a general. Is this person fucking with me? Is this like a spy of the Church of Victory? Is this someone that the symphony might have sent? Or is this person genuine sounding?
I
So-
don't know what a 10 would get you on that.
I do. So they are being truthful, but they're like potentially dodging around certain details. You can't tell if it's for self-preservation purposes or from concealment purposes or what. But everything they've said is true.
Okay, so
She used to draw. She was drawing in the dreams sometimes. She said she wanted to make my portrait. Did that ever happen?
you look familiar. What the? Whoa. Yeah, I had forgotten about that one. She. What the hell? Yes, she did draw something of your likeness. It's. I. It was not finished, and I didn't think much of. It's probably in here, but I guess
I'd
I
love
should.
to see it. That'd be interesting.
Uh, uh, sure. So hold on. You were saying you met Bobby in a dream place, and
Yes.
she thought you were not real, but told you about the un- And she looks at November for half a second, and then looks back at you. The Kalists and what else? Repeat this. I half listened because I thought you were making it up, but now I am not so sure.
Well, it was less like warning me and more like she mostly treated me as a sounding board, a figment of her imagination. So she was talking about how the Kalists were an affront to God's will, basically, and how they walked around, and uh, there was a lot of talking about how disturbing they looked. There was a lot of venting to me, basically.
Okay. Wow. I shouldn't be this surprised about this.
That was 3 days ago.
That would have been when we first saw them. Okay. Well, I'm sure you know. And she's like glancing at November, not really making eye contact, and goes, Bubby was killed.
Yeah, I'm sad that I didn't get to meet her. I've been hearing nothing but talk about her. It's sad to be so close.
I'm sure it is.
As I was riding in, actually, Toblerone, and they gesture to the hot, was ran into some pigeons that wouldn't shut up about her. It was weird.
Wow. Yeah, no one else could have known about that. Okay. Okay. I think from that I do actually believe you.
I know this
Wow.
is less than ideal circumstances to meet. I'm really sorry. If I had come a week earlier, I could have been faster. I don't know.
Um, no, you would have. It doesn't matter. Don't. Yes, you can see the portrait. November.
Yes.
I see you are trying.
I have a new jacket.
I saw.
A black
So
one was $1,500, and I thought that was too expensive.
it would have been. I will allow you 20 seconds by her side, and you are invited to her funeral. If you make any mess of it, there is very little that will stop me from killing you. Do you understand me?
I will sit very quietly. You won't even know I'm here.
I also want to be clear. If you come to Bubby's funeral, hi, I will make sure.
That wouldn't be appropriate, and I understand. But I'm still making the wisdom save.
Minerva's apparition is standing behind Hannah, kind of wagging a finger. The very much the like wag.
I understand more than you could possibly know.
I very much doubt that. 15 seconds. And she'll
Great.
turn and open the door to Minerva's.
He'll enter very quickly. And just like standing quietly, allowing Hannah to lead.
And Hannah goes in and motions for November, where he can sit, stand, whatever the fuck. She doesn't care. Just points at the position he can be after going into the house.
Okay, so is she like she's in her bedroom or
Yeah,
like
she's
like
on.
okay.
You come in and she's her body's on her bed. She's wrapped from head to toe in a mixture of different cloth and linen that Hannah seemed to be able to find. But in one continuous strand, she's wrapped outside of the rest of the cloth very distinctly in a shape that you do not recognize, but it's a very distinct shape.
Do I see Alex's body as I walk through the room?
You do not.
Okay. He will. Does it smell nice or does it smell bad? Does it smell like an old lady in here?
It does, yeah.
He won't acknowledge it. He will just go very quietly, and he will approach, and he will bend down. He'll go on one knee, and he will. Anybody can. He's not trying to make it a secret, but he's also not talking very loudly, and he'll just say, "I am very sorry. I will try to look after her." That's what he says.
Taylor's walking in, half curious, half reverent. The shape of it's familiar, but it all looks so different.
Okay, November, time's up.
Okay, I'll go sit.
What?
I'll go sit in the other room.
No. You'll leave, and you will come back tonight to see if I know when the funeral is. If I do not, you will come back in the morning to see when the funeral is.
I'll just sit outside.
I don't want you here.
Right, but it's about paying respects by sitting. Right? Sit.
No.
I brought a box.
You will pay respects by listening to the only living family that's left of the Hirschhorn clan. Leave.
Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry for the way I am. And then he goes.
Is he? I don't even know how to finish that question.
He's out of his fucking mind. He's high most of the time. He's absolutely crazy. And he is so traumatized by the loss of his wife that he lost his mind.
That's rough.
Indeed. And because of his... doesn't matter. The portrait. Where the fuck did she keep this? Probably over here. She'll walk towards a corner and ruffle through some things and find the portrait of Taylor that's half finished. Ah, yes, here. Here, I'll set it down. And she'll show it to you and set it down against the wall.
Wow. She really captured how it looked.
She had an eye and a lot of time.
I really wish I could have met her. I'm sorry I didn't. Is there anything? You don't know me. Is there anything I can do for you?
No, and it's not your responsibility, and you're right, I don't know you. But how often did you say you spoke to her? Over the past week?
Over the last week, it was just the 3 days ago. I rarely ended up actually seeing her over the past 5 or 6 years. Maybe once or twice a year. If I was in the area, it was a lot easier. The further away I was, the less frequent.
Would you mind terribly if she used you as a sounding board? Um, I would really like to hear what she said, if you can remember.
I can do that, yes. I actually, out of character, don't have that, though. Is that a good place to cut it, you think?
Yeah, that's probably good. Doctor, before we cut out, did you have anything else that you wanted to accomplish before it gets close to the dinner hour?
Before he goes to bed, he'd like to check on the jar one more time.
Sure. So you go over and you you open up the jar, and there is the faintest section like around where the lard was like touching the skin that has started to get like a grayish black color. It's doesn't move near as fast as some of the other samples and stuff, but it is starting to like break down around it. It's like the first signs of black spots on a banana, essentially.
Okay, he'll record that, and that's pretty much it.
All right. Anything else anybody wants to have done? Doc or Professor, what are you doing? Where are you going now that you've been
Dismissed,
verbally
yeah.
forcibly removed? Yeah, dismissed is a good word.
He thought he was doing the right thing. He's so dumb. Yeah, well, he's gonna go. He's got time to kill. He's gonna go shopping. He's gonna buy some wood. He has a vision for a box, so he's gonna see if anybody, one, has a box for sale. Two, if not, he has a carpenter hammer now, so he's gonna buy some nails and buy some wood and buy a saw and try to build a box for his mushrooms.
All right.
He's not going to
pretty easy.
start that project. I don't
Sure.
expect that he'll be able to build it right now, but if he could buy the supplies, he'd source those.
Yeah. Let me see here. Give me 1 second. You can get wood and nails. Yeah, wood and nails and like zip ties to use as a hinge, essentially.
Cool.
Which would be like the cheapest option for all intents and purposes. You can get all of that for like $50.
Beautiful.
And a like a basic saw. It won't really do much more. It's essentially like a piece of metal that somebody has cut teeth into and sharpened. It may be enough to do. It'll be enough to do the box, and it may be enough to do like one more tool after that before it just dulls out too bad. But it's you cut enough corners to save enough money. Pretty easy to get that kind of stuff really at any general store. So it'd be $50 to do that.
Yeah, he'll buy that, and then everything else. He will also try to source a power charger for the iPad without ever showing the iPad to anyone. But he's gonna like count the pins, like, he's had an iPad before. I'm sure he can figure out what power supply it needs.
Yeah, so you give me an intelligence check. It would normally be an advantage, but you're still exhausted, so it's gonna be regular. Oh, doesn't matter. Look at that.
Beautiful.
So you kind of have this stroke of genius. You when you're at when you're at that general store getting the wood and stuff, you you see that for like another $1, you can get a lump of the clay that people have been selling all over the place after the rain, and put just a piece of plastic over it, and you imprint the little palm tablets port on it, so that you can ask around, like, hey, do you have anything that would fit it? You know, that has a plug like this. You get what I'm saying? You make a negative
Yeah.
of it with the little bit of clay. That one, this is going to be relatively difficult to find because it's not an iPad, it's a little tablet.
Okay.
But give me, we're going to do a D100, and before the bazaar closes down, we need to get above an 80. This is kind of, above a 70. It's kind of difficult. It's a
One
D100.
D100. Okay.
Yes, sir.
10. This guy doesn't have it.
Yeah, so you go around to multiple shops, still a little
Okay.
scattered, still coming down off the high maybe, so you're not portraying the correct information. So before the night ends, you'll have all the other materials, but you haven't been able to find a power source that has this kind of plug on it yet.
Okay. Perfect. He knows it's an idea. And then the only other thing he would try to do is sell 2 makeshift hatchets that he has. Unless one of them could be good for woodworking. No, they're probably not. Be splitting logs.
If they were sharpened down, you could use them for woodworking. Like
Okay.
if they were just resharpened, they would absolutely be usable.
He'll get them resharpened too, whatever that
Okay.
costs.
Just knock off $5 more. It's a pretty easy process, especially for the makeshift ones, and you're not. The professor would be smart enough to say, like, I'm not looking to use these for defense. This is for This is tools wise. So
Exactly.
just knock off $5 more. All right, RP MVP nominations.
Oh, very hard. I'm tempted to go November just for dealing with all the ghosts.
Yeah, that's my vote.
And then also his discussion with the mayor and like his coming to terms with how much people don't like him.
Agreed.
Easy peasy. So that is 30 additional. So 2. All right, Dylan. Hold on. My calculation messed up. I was able to fix it pretty quickly. Delete there. All right, Dylan, 361 RPXP, bringing you to a total of 4038.
Yep.
Graham, 391 RPXP, bringing you to a total of 4058.
4058?
Yes.
Cool.
Jeff, 361 RPXP, bringing you to a total of 3959.
Okay.
And Emily, 3532 base XP at start, 318 RPXP, just because of the slight delay getting you in, bringing you to a total of 3850.
Works for me.
Fantastic. All right, let me save that and lock it up. So that was session 13, The Long Walk, Part 2. I am 95% confident that we are playing next week for session 14, which will be The Long Walk, Part 3. This has been Rhapsody, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, brought to you in part by Inked Gaming and TeamRankstar.com. You can go to inkedgaming.com and get your battle maps for Dungeons & Dragons, your gaming crates to carry all of your stuff, mouse pads with your characters, custom art, anything your heart desires, and you can use that code from Team Rankstar, TRS12, at checkout on Inked Gaming to get 12% off your final purchase total. Check them out today and get whatever you need to make your live games complete. Also, of course, the music that you're going to hear when we do sign off, provided by taketones.com. That's free music that we're able to use on our streams and on our YouTube video when this goes live, or when the replay goes up on the YouTube channel at the Team Rankstar YouTube. You can get your music at taketones.com as well and use it in anything your heart desires. All you have to do is shout them out or give credit on screens or anything like that. Finally, and most importantly, a split thank you to Roll20.net, where we play for free every week. You can play hundreds of systems, roll your dice, play with your friends from around the world. And remember, it is all free. So go to Roll20.net today, sign up, and start playing tomorrow. Who knows? An hour after you sign up. It's that fast. It is that easy. And Wizards of the Coast for making this fantastic game. Brings us together, makes us feel emotions, feel bad for Professor November, feel happy that the doctor is figuring out things, and we don't know what to feel about Hannah and Darian. They're in these weird places right now, and fantastic job bringing in Taylor, Emily's new character. Taylor Conway has made their way onto the scene. What secrets do they hide? What stories can they tell? Find out in the RP channels over the course of the week. Maybe just send Emily a message and ask what Taylor's motivations are. See if you can squeeze that information out. You can find our Discord information live in the Twitch chat with !D&D, or if we're watching on YouTube, it's down in the description below. Join us anytime, ask questions, maybe talk about how cool this character is under pressure from some of these very intimidating faces that they're meeting for the first time. With that, you can follow me on Twitter at MantedMan. I'm friends with a couple of these other schmucks on Twitter as well. Maybe you can track them down. But follow me on Twitter at MantedMan to get updates when we're experiencing technical difficulties or when we are playing our next game. But if everything goes the way we want it to, that will be at 6 p.m. Pacific next week, Friday, June 21st. And we are going to sign off and let you listen to those tunes from taketones.com. And we'll see you next week.